Hi. And hi. It's me, Yasmine. Welcome back to Word Magic. And this week we're going to be talking, or I'm going to be answering some reader questions. So if you'd like, pull up a seat and we'll get started here in a moment. For those who don't know who I am and who haven't watched my introduction video, I am Yasmine Galenorn. I am a USA Today, Publishers Weekly, and New York Times bestselling author of over 65 books. I have been in the business 20-some years, 24 years, 20 of it with publishers mostly in New York, and the last 4 I have been indie, and I'm loving it, so I come to you from both sides of the fence. So that's a little bit about who I am. Now I'm going to take some reader questions and answer them. Okay, we're going to start with a question from Ryan. And I'm sorry, Ryan, you've asked this question 3 or 4 times, and I meant to answer it, and I never got to it before. But I am getting to it now. Regarding the character interviews Ms. Galenorn does when writing, does she only interview the primary characters, or does she also interview secondary characters? I interview the characters who need to be interviewed. It doesn't matter whether they're primary or secondary. I interview them if I have a question for them, or if I'm not clear on something, or if something isn't gelling, then I will ask that character about it. But I don't routinely go through and interview every single character, and I don't interview every major character because some of them just form on their own really easily. And it all depends on who needs some extra attention and what I need to know. So there's the answer to that. Now, next question. Scarlett Matthews asks, are Aaron and Ceridwen mated like Cernunnos and Morgana? No. I'm not sure in mythology who their mates were, but in my world, they are not mated together. No, they are separate and keep to their own spheres. So, let's see. Along the lines of the gods, Nikki Goodwin is asking, I am curious if you have a patron, matron deity, and would love to hear your answers and thoughts. Yes, I do. Since I've been in the craft since 1980. In 1992, I pledged as a priestess to Maliki and Tapio, their Finnish forest deities. And I also am a priestess of Ukko and Rani, the sky and earth mother of that pantheon. And I am also a follower of Brigid, as she is known to some, the Celtic goddess of the wells and hearth. So I have 5 deities that I work with primarily. I also work to some degree with Herne and Cernunnos and Pan. And I wouldn't say I was pledged to them though, but I do work with their energies a lot. So yeah, I do have patron deities, and I have been devoted to them, for the better part of my life, actually. I entered the craft when I was 19, in 1980, and I am now 58, going on 59, so it's been almost 40 years. And this is the only path I could ever imagine being on for myself, So that answers your question. Heather asks, how does Ms. Galenorn come up with the designs of her houses the characters live in? As they find a house, I just see it in my mind. And sometimes I will actually make the house in like The Sims, so I make sure I'm not, defying the laws of physics and gravity, because I kind of did that with the Chintz and China series. There are some places where I realized that the way I had described the house and where certain things were meant that the house was almost a tesseract. And I was like, oops, that didn't work. So yes, you are very pretty, and everybody needs to know. Um, so I started actually either designing them on paper to some degree. I would sketch them out, or I make them in The Sims because that helps me see where things are. So the designs come to me in my mind, I just can see it, and then I actually try and create it so that I don't mess it up in future books. And one last question here. Kristen asks, howdy, my question, have you ever had a stalker? Much more serious question, isn't it? No, don't do that, Kaylee. Yeah, I have. A couple of them actually in my life, in terms of my life as an author. Excuse me. Stop. Let's just say it's not fun. And it's why I'm very cautious around people who seem too friendly and too eager to get to know me. Because you never know when somebody's gonna lose it and go over the edge. And while my stalkers have confined themselves to the internet, cyber stalking, it has been difficult at times. There was a period of 3 years where I was about ready to lose it because one person would not leave me alone. I could not get him off my back. And, it takes a toll on you. It takes a real toll on you, and it gets to the point where you just don't want to interact with people because you don't know what they're going to be like. You don't know what you're getting into. That's why I'm very leery of the way Facebook and Twitter and all these social media sites use the word friend. Oh, I'm going to friend so-and-so. No. If I don't know you, you're not my friend. You may be a reader, you may be an acquaintance, you may be a co-worker or a, fellow author, but unless I know you, you're not a friend. And I think people need to remember how to keep parts of themselves private until they are actually comfortable with exposing that side of themselves to somebody. I don't let readers come to my house. I would slam the door in a reader's face if they came to my house, because that's an intrusion, that's an invasion of my privacy. I've had people come up to me in restaurants before who they recognized me from my picture in some of my books, and or my name. It's like one waiter recognized my name on the credit card, and they wanted to enthuse about the books, and that's nice. I appreciate their enthusiasm. I appreciate their love for the books, but I was having private dinner with my husband, and if I'm at a convention, that's different. If I'm at a book signing, that's different. I'm there to meet people. I'm there to be out. I'm there to be to interact and to be, vocal. And when I post on social media, yeah, I'm there to interact. But there's got to be a line. And unfortunately, some people don't recognize that line, and they get so caught up that they lose track of reality a little bit. So, boy, I'm washing out now. I think the camera got a little bit wigged out when Kaylee was rubbing against the monitor. Anyway, so I guess what I would just tell you is that yes, I have, and we keep files on people who cross the line, and anybody who's really kind of suspicious goes in that file just in case. People have been killed, by stalkers. And while I don't ever expect that to happen, it's a scary thought. I've had author friends who've had death threats, and everything because they wouldn't pay attention to the person, or because the person hated what they were writing. So yeah, it's an actual issue, and anybody who has any sort of real celebrity at all is a potential target. And women especially have to be careful, but men are targeted too. So there's the answer to your question. Yes, I have, and I'd rather not. And there's not much I can say about it other than that. It's like you keep track, you keep records, and if you have to, you go to the police, and you make sure you have an alarm system in your home, and you try to keep your address out from the public, which isn't that easy in today's world. And you just hope that people will behave themselves and, watch their manners. So there you go. There's the answer to that question. Rather than leave on a down note, I'm just going to remind you that A Sacred Magic is coming out on October 14th. Yay! And on October 20th, Bedlam Calling will be out. So those of you who wanted the shorts for Bewitching Bedlam in print can get it then. And it's also going to be the anthology, in e-format as well, if you want it for that. Now, none of those are new stories, at least the Bedlam stories. A Sacred Magic, of course, is a new book. But if you haven't had a chance to get them in either e-format, or if you've wanted them in print, it's going to be your chance. And you can pre-order those now. I guess that's going to be it for now. And I am pretty much almost done with Demon's Delight. I'm planning on putting it out in November, and I may put up a short pre-order, but stick around and listen for when it goes out in case I don't get it up for pre-order. But Maddie, yeah, surprise book, and it surprised me too. I didn't expect to actually end up writing her book this year, but she apparently wanted it written. And aren't the new covers gorgeous? They are so beautiful. And someone also asked why I changed the covers on the Bewitching Bedlam series. Too many people were thinking it was a cozy series. Well, this is weird. Okay, there was like this schism. There were people who thought it was a cozy series, and I guess either they thought it was a cozy series because someone told them that, or because of the covers. And they got really pissed when they saw there was sex in there. It's not a cozy series. It has hot vampire nookie in it. And then there were other people who, I saw several comments of, oh, she looks like a hooker. Well, I didn't think so. I think the original covers are pretty. But it's true, they weren't branded quite in my brand. They didn't quite look like some of my other books. And I feel like with the new covers, nobody can think they're cozies from those new covers. So, plus I love Raven's work, and I love having her work on, most of my books. So, that's why I changed the covers. And, the content hasn't changed, just the covers. So I will leave it at that and talk to you later, and I will talk to you next week in another video. And come over and join me on the blog. We've got a lot of things going on over there this month because it's October and it's the witching season and it's my favorite time of the year. It's truly, truly, truly so pretty out. So, guess that's it for now. Talk to you later. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful week.